Back, our financial topic today, mutual funds and ETFs, understanding the difference. Joining us to talk about that, Mark Matthews with Edward Jones. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Glad to be here, Mary Grace. Thank you.
Glad to see you. So when we're building our portfolios, it's important to choose investments that are reflecting our comfort with things like risk, time horizon, long-term objectives. But what if we don't have the time? Maybe we don't have the patience to research every stock or bond individually. That's kind of where mutual funds and ETFs can come in. So Mark, if you want to start us off with what are they and kind of how do they differ?
Yeah, so most mutual funds are going to be run by a professional manager who's picking and choosing investments to make, stocks, bonds, to match up with the fund's objective of growth or income or growth in income or whatever it might be. They're going to try to own things that fit that mission for the fund. Mutual funds are traded really once a day. At the end of the day, when all the market values have closed, and whatever things are worth at day's end becomes your mutual fund share price that you see later on that night on the internet or used to be in newspapers and so forth. But it's priced once a day. They're convenient to buy. They're easy to add relatively small amounts into a mutual fund. And by that I mean, $50 or something like that. It doesn't have to be thousands and thousands. You get diversification within your given fund. One thing about mutual funds, if you own them outside of an IRA, is like last year, a lot of equity mutual funds threw off a lot of capital gains that you wind up paying tax on. And sometimes that can be kind of a challenge, or at least something you're not planning on. And that's where ETFs come into play, where for the most part, they throw off very little capital gains. The way they account for their shares and their holdings is different. And so for investments in an IRA, mutual funds really work out great, and other places too. If you're mindful of taxes, and that can be an issue, sometimes ETFs can be more efficient in that regard. And there's an ETF for every day of the week, every day of the year. There's all kinds of them. Most of them track an index. Some of them have a strategy, and they're inexpensive to own. How you pay for them depends on the kind of account you're buying them through. But they're a good thing to think about. A lot of ETFs just mimic an index, and so you get the Dow Jones, the SP 500, other indexes, whereas mutual funds can be more nuanced in what they're trying to accomplish with their mission. But
Right.
for most of us, one or the other is a good way to put money to work, unless you want a new hobby of following stocks.
Right.
And I understand
It's a lot
many
of
people
work.
don't.
It's a lot of work. So both of these can help you diversify your portfolio, but they definitely do have kind of different benefits with each one of them. That's personal for your own needs. Edward Jones can help you make sure you're doing what's right for your needs when it comes to your finances. How can we reach out to you?
You know what? The best way is edwardjones.com. Search for an advisor with the town you're in or your zip code, and that will bring up folks in your area pronto.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Mark Matthews with Edward Jones. Mark, thanks again for joining us, giving us this great information.